Hello, welcome once again to Leto's Law. I'm Steve Leto. I'm excited. This is an update because two of my most popular videos in terms of how many clicks they've gotten or downloads they've gotten have to do with showing your receipt when you're at a Walmart or a Costco or a Sam's Club or any place where you're walking out of the store. You bought some stuff and they say, "Can I see your receipt?" as you walk out of the store. And in one of them, I addressed the issues about whether or not they have the right to ask you for the receipt. And then I also pointed out in a later video that if you refuse to show your receipt at a store as a sign of protest after you've shopped there, it kind of defeats the purpose. But not talking about that today. We're simply talking about whether or not there are legal issues involved with you refusing to show them your receipt. And I got a very nice email moments ago from a woman named Karen, and Karen passed along a story out of Cleveland. The reason, of course, I'm excited is a man was arrested after refusing to show a receipt to greeter at Walmart in Canton. And now he did make threats to the police, but it's kind of fun to watch how this unfolds because, if you'd followed the advice in either of my two videos, and this was you, you wouldn't be in the news right now. But of course, the reason you're in the news right now, to this gentleman, is because he apparently didn't see my videos, or if he did, he didn't follow the advice in them. This is a story by Chris Anderson from 19 News, and it says that a Canton man was jailed after he refused to show his receipt to a greeter when leaving Walmart. Now, I've also told you that some of the people tell me that not only do they tell that greeter to go screw themselves, but they also say things like, "Yeah, if they try to stop me, I'll stick a Glock in their face," and all this crazy talk. But, here's how this thing unfolded. The Canton man was jailed after he refused to show his receipt to the greeter when leaving Walmart. Officers responded to a disturbance reported at the Walmart located at 4004 Tuscarawas Street West on Monday at approximately 8 p.m. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, but it's an awfully long word. This is according to an incident report from Canton Police. Now, one of the other things that a lot of people tell me was they said if the greeter calls the police aren't going to show up. The police have got more important things to do. Well, the police showed up, refused to show the door greeter his receipt for the unbagged items in his shopping cart. When asked by an officer for his receipt, again refused to show it according to the police report. Now here's the thing. Let's just stop for a split second and take a snapshot of that moment in time. You're walking out of Walmart with a bunch of stuff that's bagged. You've got a receipt in your hand, and there's stuff in your cart that's not bagged. Okay? The greeter says, "Can I see your receipt? Because I want to confirm that you bought that item down there." And you go, "No, I'm going to stick a Glock in your face," or whatever. Now, you think that the greeter should just let people push stuff out the door that's not bagged and there's no indication that the stuff was paid for? Or do you think they should actually stop people and say, "Can we confirm that you bought that?" And no, they're not required to watch all 20 of the checkout lines to see if you stood in line and paid for your stuff. I've had people say it too. "Hey, I just got through the checkout line. Didn't they see me?" No, they didn't see you because they're down at the other door greeting people as they come in or watching them as they leave. They're not babysitting the checkout aisles. So, he was then accused of threatening to assault a Canton police officer and resisted arrest when police tried to take him into custody. And 19 News points out that a merchant or an employee or agent of a merchant, and this is in Ohio, who has probable cause to believe that items offered for sale by a mercantile establishment have been unlawfully taken by a person may, for the purposes set forth in Division C of this section, detain the person in a reasonable manner for a reasonable length of time within the mercantile establishment or its immediate vicinity. Now, you might say, "Steve, well, what probable cause do they have to believe that the items were not paid for?" Well, let's see now. There's an unbagged item underneath your shopping cart, and you're rolling it out the door, and you refuse to show them your receipt. Now, you can argue with me all you want about whether or not that's probable cause, but as I pointed out here, they called the cops, and the cops showed up. And by the way, the cops showed up fast enough that the guy was still there, placed under arrest and transferred to the county jail on account of resisting arrest. According to Stark County court records, he was arraigned on the charge Wednesday morning, where a pretrial hearing was set for April 25th at 10:30 a.m. So again, if you are walking out the door at Walmart with your stuff, and some of it's bagged and some of it's not bagged, and they say, "Hey, can I see your receipt?" and you say no, and you threaten to put the Glock in their face, do they have the right to stop you? Well, they can make the argument, say, "Gee, that stuff's not bagged. We don't know if you paid for it." So, it's a question of whether or not they're going to put up a fight over that or not. So again, we have the story. Guy in Ohio refused to show the receipt. Police were called. A brouhaha ensued, and the man went to jail. So again, if you want to tell the receipt checker that you're not going to cooperate and live your life dangerously, go right ahead. But when they call the cops will show up. So, there's that. But again, like I said, you are free to ignore the advice you see on the internet. You're free to do that. Live your life as you see fit and see what happens. Questions or comments, put them below. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.